Welcome.
Welcome to Real Human Voices.
Reading really old books. Yay.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello. This is
I
so
know.
cool. We've got 2 people already. That's so
Oh, that was
awesome.
fast.
Hello. Right, I haven't even put the chat on. It's been a bit of but one person, okay.
Somebody said, well, screw this. This is boring.
And we haven't even started.
Thank
Hi,
you, Critical.
Dee. Nice to see you. How you doing? How are you doing? No? Hello to everybody that's here. Oh, we got 4 people. That's absolutely awesome.
This is going to be a running commentary. 4, 4, oh, 3, 3 down. Oh my gosh, it's 5 now.
It's like the episode of Friends where it's like, and a 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. Yay! Oh, I'm good. I'm glad it's not bad. I'm glad it's good. So today we're going to do something different. We're going to do another bit of experimenting. Well, I am at least. I don't know about Mr. Bear. But what is certain is we're going to read The Importance of Being Earnest. Another part of the I think it's Act 2. We'll read half of that. We didn't even practice beforehand because there was chaos beforehand. So it was a case of trying to select another book on the sense of Mr. Bear's part, and it was microphone drama on mine, and I'm talking through gritted teeth because I've got my rather expensive setup doesn't like it when I want to go onto StreamYard and goes, oh no, I shall not behave for you when it comes to StreamYard. No, I don't want to go onto StreamYard. I don't want to. I'm too good for StreamYard. My yakkers is it. I was going to say something else there, but I decided not to. So. Is it? It's the same microphone. That is really weird. That's very strange. But I'll use my new microphone next week, or I might use my new microphone tomorrow if we're able to get on. And I'm glad the volume's much better. I got a really sore throat though, so you know. Right then, Mr. Bear, did you find another book to read?
I did find that book of Irish short stories. That should be interesting. I'll see if my my accents are up to snuff. You're the one with the grab bag of Irish accents.
I think you'll be just fine.
See how I can do.
Imagine in the West Country, but just make it a bit more homely. The Irish accent is actually one of the best ones in the world. Well, the multitude of Irish accents. Do you know, though, I did see on Tinterwebs today somebody saying an Irish name with a Scottish lilt, and I nearly punched through the screen.
Yeah, there was a comedian talking about how he was out on St. Patrick's Day and everybody thought he was Irish because he was putting on the accent and it was a Scottish accent, and I nearly cringed through my tongue.
Was it one of those ones where your teeth turn inside out because you're cringing so hard?
Yeah. It's like,
right. So, Mr. Bear, do you have your copy of The Importance of Being Earnest?
I do indeed. I can throw it up here if we want. So we are at the second act.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that we're going to do is I've got a couple of articles that I'm going to read of Victorian scandals, which I've always loved. I love a good Victorian scandal because they're absolutely hilarious. And yes, I can't remember who we've got on this one. Miss Prism. So she's oh my goodness. Somebody's got to do Miss Prism and somebody's got to do Cecily.
Yeah, I think Miss Prism might be you. It's hard because I mean, Jesus Christ. Okay, come on, great, get your shit together.
Okay, and you can be Chasuble and Merriman. Should I just be Cecily? There's a lot of Cecily speak and a lot of other characters. I mean, I can be Miss Prism if you want me to be Miss Prism.
We got Miss Prism and Cecily. I think probably you'd do better, Cecily. Chasuble. Okay, so who's Chasuble? I don't remember this bit.
I think Chasuble's a butler, isn't he?
Is he?
I think Chasuble's Cecily, but
my Chasuble will probably sound a lot like the other one.
But then again,
that's,
he's yes.
I have a butler voice, and that's pretty much universal. Northman, do a
play set
seat.
in Ireland. Oh, good idea. That would be so good. I'd enjoy doing that. We would enjoy it because like Mr. Bear's Irish accent is actually really good. You know, when he sets his
Ach,
mind
away
to
with you.
it. That was more Scottish.
That was the point.
Right, we're going to just do a quick double check of Chaucer's role in The Importance of Being Earnest. Give me 2 seconds. Who is?
Yeah, we're going cold into this one. We didn't have our practice time this time.
It has been years, and I should have done my homework before I actually did this one. He's either going to be like, I'm sure he actually might be a priest, like,
Oh, indeed. Let's see.
or something. He's the Reverend. So,
Oh, okay. I've got it. Okay. All right. I got a good one set up for that one then.
Trey with an Irish accent. But is it Southern Irish or is it Northern Irish? Both of them say Trey. And Pong.
Chicago, indeed.
Ooh, nice. New York certainly does. But American Irish is something that is so completely unique. And Bear and I have had this conversation.
Yeah, American Irish culture isn't the same as Irish culture.
No. Yeah. Two completely different things, but American Irish culture should still be embraced, absolutely, all day long.
Yeah, there's no problem with it. The thing is, American Irish culture is unfortunately, especially like around Boston, the people that I know in Boston, it's based around an kind of like an idealized idea of Ireland, and yes. Most Irish people kind of sneer at it a bit.
Yeah, it's kind of like the trends and the traditions that are there are not exactly Irish traditions.
There's an Irish guy I knew in Massachusetts. His name was Hoey, and he says the weather's shit. It's always shit. I like it here.
It's said shite, probably. The weather's shite. It's always shite, but I like it better here.
No, he says shit.
Shit, interesting.
He'd been here.
Turn River Green on St. Paddy's Day, and also the use of the word St. Paddy's Day. That a lot of them don't use St. Paddy's Day; say St. Patrick's Day more than St. Paddy's Day. But you know something? As long as you enjoy yourself, get absolutely rat-arsed and have fun, that's the best thing about it.
That's pretty much it. Like I worked on a landscaping crew once with some Mexicans, and one of them was asking what St. Patrick's Day was, and they told him it was essentially an Irish Cinco de Mayo. It was just an excuse to get drunk.
There we go. So, Northman, lovely having you here. Dee, lovely having you here. Our secret person, lovely having you here. Thank you for being here. Let's see if we can do this one. So basically, Mr. Bear should be Miss Prism, the governess, the lady tutor of Cecily, and Cecily. And yes, we shall try that one. And then the next scene after that will be the one with Canon Chaucerbull, who's a reverend, and Bear will do that voice as well. So the thing is, in one of my books, I actually do have a character called Cecily. And she talks like this because she's got Cockney, and she also talks like Paddington, like very much like Paddington, but she actually talks like this instead, and she says "madam" instead of "madam," and she's absolutely awesome, and I love the character.
that Cecily is what you get if you mixed Paddington Bear with the lady from My Fair Lady.
Exactly. She's actually a lady's maid as well, so there we go. Yes. We like this. Okay, I'm gonna have to try and are we sitting comfortably? Yes, we're sitting comfortably. I'll be the next thing, new chair anyway. So my lovely beans, The Importance of Being Earnest, second act. We'll do a couple of scenes from this, and we'll have some fun doing it. Oh, another player for you too. Tell you what, I'm going to look at the chats as soon as I've finished like doing this one, because I'm intrigued. Right. The scene. Garden at the manor house. A flight of grey stone steps leads up to the house. The garden, an old-fashioned one full of roses. Time of year, July. Basket chairs and a table covered with books are set under a large yew tree. Miss Prism discovered seated at the table. Cecily is at the back, watering flowers.
Miss Prism, Cecily, surely such a utilitarian occupation as watering flowers is rather Moulton's duty than yours, especially at the moment when intellectual pleasures await you. Your German grammar is on the table. Pray open it at page 15. We will repeat yesterday's lesson.
But I don't like German. It isn't at all a becoming language. I know perfectly well that I look quite plain after my German lesson.
Child, you know how anxious your guardian is that you should improve yourself in every way. He laid particular stress on your German as he was leaving for town yesterday. Indeed, he always lays stress on your German when he is leaving for town.
Dear Uncle Jack is so very serious. Sometimes he is so serious that I think he cannot be quite well.
Your guardian enjoys the best of health, and his gravity of demeanour is especially to be commended in one so comparatively young as he is. I know no one who has a higher sense of duty and responsibility.
I suppose that is why he often looks a little bored when we three are together.
Cecily, I am surprised at you. Mr. Worthing has many troubles in his life. Idle merriment and triviality would be out of place in his conversation. You must remember his constant anxiety about that unfortunate young man, his brother.
I wish Uncle Jack would allow that unfortunate young man, his brother, to come down here sometimes. We might have a good influence over him, Miss Prism. I am sure you certainly would. You know German and geology, and things of that kind of influence and things of that kind can influence a man very much. Cecily begins to write in her diary.
I do not think that even I could produce such an effect on a character that, according to his own brother's admission, is irrevocably weak and vacillating. Indeed, I am not sure I would desire to reclaim him. I am not in favour of this modern mania for turning bad people into good people at a moment's notice. As a man sows, so let him reap. You must put away your diary, Cecily. I really don't see why you should keep a diary at all.
I keep a diary in order to enter the wonderful secrets of my life. If I didn't write them down, I should probably forget all about them.
Memory, my dear Cecily, is a diary that we all carry about with us.
Yes, but it usually chronicles the things that have never happened and couldn't possibly have happened. I believe that memory is responsible for nearly all the 3-volume novels that Moody sends us.
Do not speak slightingly of the 3-volume novel, Cecily. I wrote one myself in earlier days.
Did you really, Miss Prism? How wonderfully clever you are. I hope it did not end happily. I don't like novels that end happily. They depress me so much.
The good ended happily, and the bad unhappily. That is what fiction means.
I suppose so, but it seems very unfair. And was your novel ever published?
Alas, no. The manuscript, unfortunately, was abandoned. I use the word in the sense of lost or mislaid. To your work, child. These speculations are profitless.
But I see dear Dr. Chasuble coming up through the garden.
Miss Dr. Chasuble, this is indeed a pleasure. Enter Canon Chasuble. I see. And how are we this morning, Miss Prism? You are well, I trust.
I'm sorry.
I told you I had one for him.
Miss Prism has just been complaining of a slight headache. I think it would do her so much good to have a short stroll with you in the park, Dr. Chasuble.
Cecily, I've not mentioned anything about a headache.
No, dear Miss Prism, I know that, but I felt instinctively that you had a headache. Indeed, I was thinking about that, and not about my German lesson, when the rector came in.
I hope, Cecily, you're not inattentive.
Oh, I'm afraid I am.
That is strange. Were I fortunate enough to be Miss Prism's pupil, I would hang upon her lips.
Miss Prism glares.
I spoke metaphorically. My metaphor was drawn from bees. Mr. Worthing, I suppose, has not returned from town yet. We do not expect him until Monday afternoon. Ah, yes. He usually likes to spend his Sunday in London. He is not one of those whose sole aim is enjoyment, as by all accounts that unfortunate young man his brother seems to be. But I must not disturb Huh? Agria? Ag-
Egeria.
Ageria and her pupil any longer. Ageria? Wow, how do you even pronounce that?
Letitia.
Letitia, okay. Ageria, my name is Letitia, Doctor. A classical allusion merely, drawn from the pagan authors. I shall I shall see you both, no doubt, at evensong. I think, dear doctor, I will have a stroll with you. I have a headache after all, and walk might do it good. Jeez, okay. With pleasure, Miss Prism, with pleasure. It might go so far as the schools and back. That would be delightful. Christ. Cecily, you will read your political economy in my absence. The chapter on the fall of rupee you may omit. It is somewhat too sensational. Even these metallic problems have their melodramatic side.
She goes down the garden with Dr. Chaucerville. Meanwhile, Cecily picks up books and throws them back on the table. Horrid political economy. Horrid geography. Horrid German. Enter Merriman with a card on a salver. Merriman's the butler.
Okay. Mr. Ernest Worthing has just driven over from the station. He's brought his luggage with him.
Mr. Ernest Worthing, B. For the Albany, W. Uncle Jack's brother. Did you tell him Mr. Worthing was in town?
Yes, miss. He seemed very much disappointed. I mentioned that you and Miss Prism were in the garden. He said he was anxious to speak with you privately for a moment.
Ask Mr. Ernest Worthing to come here. I suppose you had better talk to the housekeeper about a room for him.
Yes, miss.
I have never met any really wicked person before. I feel rather frightened. I am so afraid he will look just like everyone else. Enter Algernon, very gay and debonair. He does. Sorry. Pygmalion.
Right.
Ooh, carry on.
All right, so Algernon's the foppish one from the last one, yes?
Yes.
You are my little cousin Cecily, I am sure.
You are under some strange mistake. I am not little. In fact, I believe I am more than usually tall for my age. But
Oh.
I am your cousin Cecily. You, I see from your card, are Uncle Jack's brother, my cousin Ernest. My wicked cousin Ernest.
I'm not really wicked at all, cousin Cecily. You mustn't think I am wicked.
If you are not, then you have certainly been deceiving us all in a very inexcusable manner. I hope you've not been leading a double life, pretending to be wicked and being really good all the time. That would be hypocrisy.
Oh, of course I have been rather reckless.
I'm glad to hear it.
In fact, now you mention the subject, I have been very bad in my own small way.
I don't think you should be. I don't think you should be proud of that, though I am sure it must have been very pleasant.
Oh my!
Oh dear!
It is much pleasanter being here with you.
I can't understand how you are here at all. Uncle Jack won't be back until Monday afternoon.
That is a great disappointment. I am obliged to go up by the first train on Monday morning. I have a business appointment that I am anxious to miss.
Couldn't you miss it anywhere but in London?
No, the appointment is in London.
Well, I know, of course, how important it is not to keep a business engagement if one wants to retain any sense of the beauty of life. But still, I think you had better wait until Uncle Jack arrives. I know he wants to speak to you about your emigrating.
About my what?
Your emigrating. He has gone up to buy your outfit.
I certainly wouldn't let Jack buy my outfit. He has no taste in neckties at all.
I don't think you will require neckties. Uncle Jack is sending you to Australia.
Australia? I'd sooner die.
Well, he said at dinner on Wednesday night that you would have to choose between this world, the next world, and Australia.
Well, the accounts I have received of Australia and the next world are not particularly encouraging. This world is good enough for me, Cousin Cecily.
Yes, but are you good enough for it?
I am afraid I'm not that. That is why I want you to reform me. You may make you might make that your mission, if you don't mind, Cousin Cecily.
I'm afraid I've no time this afternoon.
Well, would you mind my reforming myself this afternoon?
It's rather quixotic of you, but I think you should try.
I will. I feel better already.
You're looking a little worse.
That is because I am hungry.
How thoughtless of me! I should have remembered that when one is going to lead an entirely new life, one requires regular and wholesome meals. Won't you come in?
Thank you. Might I have a buttonhole first? I never have an appetite unless I have a buttonhole first. What is a what?
I have no clue.
Oh,
Oh no, buttonhole is basically when they put the flower in the buttonhole to look
okay.
dapper. Yes.
All right.
And Marischal Neil picks up scissors.
No, I'd sooner have a pink rose.
Why?
Because you are like a pink rose, Cousin Cecily.
I don't think it can be right for you to talk to me like that. Miss Prism never says such things to me.
And then Miss Prism is a short-sighted old lady. You are the prettiest girl I've ever saw.
Miss Prism says that all good looks are a snare.
They are a snare that every sensible man should like to be caught in.
Oh, I don't think I would care to catch a sensible man. I shouldn't know what to talk to him about. They pass into the house where Miss Prism and Dr. Chasuble return.
You are too much alone, dear Chasuble. You should get married. A misanthrope I can understand. A womanthrope, never. With a scholar's shudder. Believe me, I do not deserve so a nostalgic a phrase.
Sorry. Northman, only
precept-
back then would it be okay to chirp your cousin.
Yeah, right. The precept as well as the practice of the primitive church was distinctly against matrimony. Okay.
Sententiously.
That's a complete new one on me.
Dictionary time!
Yay!
Yay! I'll look it up while you do this.
Okay. That is obviously the reason why the primitive church has not lasted up to the present day. And you do not seem to realize, dear doctor, that by persistently remaining single, a man converts himself into a permanent public temptation. Men should be more careful. This very celibacy leads weaker vessels astray. But is a man not equally attractive when married? No, no married man is ever attractive except to his wife. And often, I've been told, not even to her. And that depends on the intellectual sympathies of the woman. Maturity can always be depended on. Ripeness can be trusted. Young women are green. I spoke horticulturally. My metaphor was drawn from fruits. Where is Cecily? Perhaps she followed us to the schools.
So we've got another part of the scene coming on where Jack's going to enter, but let me just interject slightly. Sententiously, it describes speaking or writing in a way that sounds wise or moralizing, often using short and pithy sayings, aphorisms, oh, I like that word, to sound important, but usually comes across as preachy, pompous, or self-righteous in a disapproving way. Wordplay, yeah! So the next scene, I think I'm going to help out on this one because we have all characters that Mr. Bear would usually read. Do you want me to take over Miss Prism for you, and you do Jack and Chasuble?
Yeah, so if we get into the multiple ones, why don't we split up the men and women?
Men and women, okay.
Men and women.
Men and women. Mr. Worthing.
Chasuble. Mr. Worthing.
This is indeed a surprise. We did not look for you till Monday afternoon.
I have returned sooner than I have expected. Dr. Chasuble, I hope you are well. My dear Mr. Worthing, I trust this garb of woe does not betoken some terrible calamity. My brother.
More shameful debts and extravagance.
Still leading his life of pleasure. Dead. Your brother Ernest is dead. Quite dead.
What a lesson for him! I trust you will profit by it.
Mr. Worthing, I offer you my sincere condolence. You have at least the consolation of knowing that you are always the most generous and forgiving of brothers. Poor Ernest! He had his faults, but it is a sad, sad blow. Very sad indeed. Were you with him at the end? No, he died abroad, in Paris, in fact. I had a telegram last night from the manager of the Grand Hotel. Was the cause of death mentioned? A severe chill, it seems.
As a man sows, so shall he reap.
Charity, dear Miss Prism, charity. None of us are perfect. I myself am peculiarly susceptible to droughts. Will the interment take place here? No, he seems to have expressed desire to be buried in Paris. Paris? I fear that hardly points to any very serious state of mind at the last. You would no doubt wish me to make some slight allusion to this tragic domestic affliction next Sunday. My sermon on the meaning of the manna in the wilderness can be adapted to almost any occasion, joyful or, as in the present case, distressing. I have preached it at harvest celebrations, christenings, confirmations, on days of humiliation, and festal days, sure. The last time I delivered it in the cathedral as a charity sermon on behalf of the Society for the Prevention of Discontent among the upper orders. The bishop, who was present, was much struck by some of the analogies I drew. Ah, that reminds me. You mentioned christenings, I think, Dr. Chasuble. I suppose you know how to christen, all right? I mean, of course, you are continually christening, aren't you?
It is, I regret to say, one of the rector's most constant duties in this parish. I have often spoken to the poorer classes on the subject, but they don't seem to know what thrift is.
But is there any particular infant in whom you are interested, Mr. Worthing? Your brother was, I believe, unmarried. He was not. Oh, yes.
People who live entirely for pleasure usually are.
But it is not for any child, dear doctor. I am very fond of children. No, the fact is, I would like to be christened myself this afternoon, if you have nothing better to do.
But surely, Mr. Worthing, you have been christened already.
I don't remember anything about it.
But have you any grave doubts on the subject?
I certainly intend to have. But of course, I don't know if the thing would bother you in any way, or if you think I am a little too old now.
Not at all. The sprinkling, and indeed the immersion of adults is perfectly canonical practice.
Immersion?
You need have no apprehensions. Sprinkling is all that is necessary, or indeed, I think, advisable. Our weather is so changeable. At what hour would you wish the ceremony to be performed?
Oh, I might trot round about 5, if that would suit you.
Perfectly, perfectly. In fact, I have 2 similar ceremonies to perform at that time. A case of twins that occurred recently in one of the outlying cottages on your own estate. Poor Jenkins the carter, a most hard-working man.
Oh, I don't see much fun in christening along with other babies. It would be childish. Would 5:30 do?
Admirably, admirably. And now, dear Mr. Worthing, I will not intrude any longer into a house of sorrow. I would merely beg you not to be too much bowed down by grief. What seem to us bitter trials, often blessings in disguise.
This seems to me a blessing of an extremely obvious kind. Enter Cecily from the house. Uncle Jack, oh, I am pleased to see you back, but what horrid clothes you have on. Do go and change them. Cecily!
My child, my child.
That is, what's the matter, Uncle Jack? Do look happy. You look as if you have a toothache, and I have got such a surprise for you. Who do you think is in the dining room? Your brother!
Who?
Your brother, Ernest. He arrived about half an hour ago.
What nonsense. I haven't got a brother.
Oh, don't say that. However badly he may have behaved to you in the past, he's still your brother. You couldn't be so heartless as to disown him. I'll tell him to come out, and you'll shake hands with him, won't you, Uncle Jack?
These are very joyful tidings.
After we had all been resigned to his loss, his sudden return seems to me peculiarly distressing.
My brother is in the dining room. I don't know what it means, but I think it perfectly absurd.
And Algernon and Cecily, hand in hand, they come up slowly to Jack.
Good heavens! Brother John, I have come down from town to tell you that I am very sorry for all the trouble I have given you, and that I intend to lead a better life in the future.
Uncle Jack, you are not going to refuse your own brother's hand.
Nothing would induce me to take his hand. I think his coming down here is disgraceful. He knows perfectly well why.
Uncle Jack, do be nice. There is some good in everyone. Ernest has just been telling me about his poor invalid friend, Mr. Bunbury, whom he goes to visit so often. And surely there must be much good in one who is kind to an invalid and leaves the pleasures of London to sit by a bed of pain.
Oh, he's been talking about Bunbury, has he?
Yes, he has told me all about poor Mr. Bunbury and his terrible state of health.
Bunbury. Well, I don't think... Well, I would have him talk to you about Bunbury about anything else. It is enough to drive one perfectly frantic. Of course, I admit the faults were all on my side, but I must say that I think that Brother John's coldness to me is perfectly painful. I expected a more enthusiastic welcome, especially considering this is the first time I have come here.
Uncle Jack, if you don't shake hands with Ernest, I will never forgive you.
Never forgive me?
Never, never, never.
Well, this is the last time I shall ever do it.
It is pleasant, is it not, to see so perfect a reconciliation? I think we might leave these two brothers together.
Cecily, if you will come with us. Certainly, Miss Prism. My little task of reconciliation is over.
You have done a beautiful action today, dear child.
We must not be premature in our judgments. I feel very happy.
You young scoundrel, Algy. You must get out of this place as soon as possible. I don't allow any bumbering here.
Rather, I think at that point it's a good point to stop it.
I think so.
Oh, that was fun. I like that one. So, things are getting a little bit complicated in the world of Jack and Alger. Sorry. Right. So, Mr. Bear, would you like to read your one first, or shall I read mine?
As you please, darling.
I think you should read your first.
Okay, I'll read mine.
I think half an hour for each one would be quite fine, because mine's only going to be 15 minutes, so you just carry on, sir.
Okie dokie. Let's try the Irish one then.
Are you going to read a real proper book?
Real proper book.
Ooh, I think we're going to get Pygmalion as well. I think that's a really good idea. Really
What's
good
that?
idea. Thank you for that, Northman. Pygmalion, the play. Excellent
Never heard
choice
of
of
it.
play, I think. Oh, my goodness gracious me. Who are you? Get off this freaking podcast right now. You don't know Pygmalion. I am absolutely disgusted with you.
Regale me. What's it about?
Well, you read your thing and then I shall update you afterwards and then you can see if you want to read it.
Okay.
I think it would be very, very good, to be perfectly honest.
Okay. So I was going through my shelves and I found a book that was gifted to me some time ago that I never read. It's 44 Irish short stories. And I'll leave the authors out and we'll just go by the title and continue on. So I haven't read these. I'm reading these cold, so we'll see how they go. But then it shouldn't be too long. Hang on just a second. Getting old. Need my glasses.
Oh, and I'll put you out your misery. Pygmalion's actually what My Fair Lady's based on. Just saying.
Gotcha. That's why we got on the subject.
Indeed.
Gotcha.
Yes, Dee, and yes, Northman. Yes, sorry. Look at the chat there. Rare.
Right. So the title of this one is called She Went By Gently. It was close on 3 when a knock came in the night. She was out of bed on the instant in her old flannelette nightgown, with her silver gray hair tossed on her back. The nightlight was flickering quietly, as in the shadows by the elm tree outside, she discerned Manahan's unshaven face under the battered hat. "The pains be bad on the girl," came his voice. "I think surely it's her time. Maybe it's surely." "Go before me and have plenty of hot water," she answered. "I'll be at your heels, Frank." Heels with Frank. She heard his foot in the night hurrying off as she drew on her heavy dress over the nightgown. Himself stirred and put his beard irascibly outside of the blankets. "You'll go none," he snapped. "A woman like that gets her child outside of the priest and the law, 4 miles uphill on a mountain road, and the mist swarming." "I'll go," she said quietly, and crossing, she ruffled Frank's unruly hair on the little camp bed. "Be rising, Frank, and let you carry the lantern for me to Manahan's." If there was just a drop of tea before we start, Ma," he protested sleepily. "There's no time, son." Okay, I made him sound a little too old. All right, so
They grew up early in those days.
yeah. Well, he said he put his beard out irascibly, so I assumed anyhow. Well, that's what you get for assuming, I suppose. "A grand pass we've come to in this country," he grumbled himself, encouraging women of that sort to be shameless. I'd let her suffer. A good bellyful of suffering would keep her from doing it again. He moved coughingly into he's not a very nice young man, is he?
No.
He moved coughingly into the deep, warm hollow she had vacated in the bed. The strictures of his uncharitable piety followed her into the silver and ebony of the mountainy night. She went gently, her feet almost noiseless. There was an inward grace in her that spilled out and over her physical lineaments, lending them a strange litheness and beauty of movement. Frank was a little ahead of her, swinging the storm lantern. He was munching a currant scone and plastered with butter. His sturdy little legs took the steep, sharp-pebbled incline with careless grace. Now and again, he manishly kicked a stone from his path and whistled in the dark. "Careful now, Frank, in case you slip over the bank in the dark," she admonished. "Oh, Ma," he protested. "The way you talk. You'd think I wasn't grew up. It makes little of a fella." She smiled and watched him lovingly in the silver dark. He was her youngest. The others had all followed the swallows into the mighty world. Martin was in America, Annie in England, Matthew in Glasgow, Paddy in the Navy, Mary Kate and nursemaid in Canada. Michael was at rest somewhere in Italy. His CEO said in a letter that he had died well. If that meant that he had had the priest in his last hours, then God be praised. For he was her wayward one. She preferred him dying full of grace to dying full of glory. But Frank was with her still. She had her eyes in gentleness and the winning tilt of the head. He had her, Jesus Christ. He had her eyes, and see how eyes are going, I'm telling you. I can't read from a book anymore. He had her eyes in gentleness and winning tilt of the head. It would be good to have him close to her, have him to close her weary eyes at the end of it all. They had now crossed the cockney little bridge over the dashing tawny stream, and the mountains came near her and about her like mighty elephants gathered in a mystic circle for some high purpose. Everywhere in the vast silvery empire of the dark there was a deep silence of the eternal, except for the rebellious chattering of the mountain streams racing with madcap abandon. There were the enfants terribles of the mighty house, keeping it awake and uneasy. Now and again, a cottage lifted a sleepy eye out of its feathery thatch, smiled at her knowingly, and slumbered again. All of them knew her, knew of her heroism, her quiet, skilled hands, her chiding, coaxing voice in the moments of peril. In each of them, she had been the leading actress in the great primitive drama of birth. The climb was now grueling, and Frank took her arm pantingly. The lantern threw its ray merrily ahead. All would be well. She ruffled his hair playfully and smiled secretively under the black mask of the night. Excuse me. At a mischievous bend in the mountain path, the Manahan cottage suddenly jumped out of the mist like a sheepdog and welcomed them with a blaze of wild, flowering creepers. Inside, the middle-aged laborer was bending over a dark, deep chimney nook. A turf fire burned underneath on the floor. From a sooty hook far up, a rude chain hanged down and it supported a large pot of boiling water. She nodded approvingly, and, donning her overalls, moved away in the direction of the highly pitched cries from an inner room. "If there's anything else I can do," he called, half shyly after. "Keep a saucepan of gruel, thin and hot," she answered. "And put the bottle of olive oil on the hob in case we need it. Play about, Frank, and behave yourself till I call you."
Well,
Well,
olive oil on the hob to keep it warm.
she went smilingly into the bed and looked down at the flushed, tearful face, the big bloodshot eyes, the glossy, tossed hair of the girl, no more than 18, but well-developed little lass. Okay, I'm going to skip that bit.
Yeah.
Jim Cleary, who skipped to England in time, had a conquest worth his while. Oh my. The little rebel, caught in the ruthless trap of nature, grabbed her hands beseechingly, held on to them hysterically, and yelled, "Oh, Mara, Mum, please, please," she sobbed. Mora chafed her hands, soothed her gently, clacked her tongue admonishingly, and proceeded to be very disappointed at her behavior. Now, Sadie," she reproved her. "A fine soldier you are. When I was here at your coming, your mother, God rest her, bit her lip and said no word at all. Come now, and be your mother's daughter." Sure, how would I be like me poor dead mother, and me like this, and old age, and me? What health has that been mean?" sobbed Sadie. "Am I again, ye child?" soothed Mara. "And I after walking 4 miles of darkness to be with you?" The tears came now silently, as Mora's skillful hands warmed to her work. Frank remained in the kitchen, at a loss, until suddenly the door opened, and a large nanny goat sailed in with her perfect equanimity and balefully contemplated the stranger on her home ground. Frank looked askance at her full-length beard and her formidable pair of horns, but this was of small consequence to the goat, which advanced on Frank, and in the wink of an eye had whipped his handkerchief out of his top pocket and stuffed it in her mouth. Frank's protest brought an assurance from Manahan, who was stooped over the fire, bringing the gruel to boil. "She'll not touch you," he said without turning his head. "But she has me handkerchief," protested Frank. "Ah, surely she's only playing with you," returned Manahan heedlessly. But by the time the goat had consumed the handkerchief with terrific relish, and was about to make a direct attack of his sleeve of his jersey, Frank dashed for the door with the goat after him. In the little yard, he dived behind the water barrel, caught the rainwater from the roof. The goat snuffed past him in the darkness, and Frank hastily retraced his steps to the kitchen and barred the door. He was just in time to see his mother put a generous spoonful of butter into a bowl of thin, steaming gruel. "Go in and feed this to your daughter and coax her to take it," she directed Manahan. She's quiet and easy now, and all will be well." He obeyed her shyly, without a word. "You must be a big grown-up fella tonight and help your ma, Frank," she said. "Anything you say, Ma," he answered. "What is it?" The baby had come forth without a cry. It was limp and devoid of any sign of life. She carried it quickly but calmly to the open peat fire, as close to the grimy chain as the heat would allow. It was naked and upside down. Frank, under her calm directions, held it firmly by its miniature ankles. "Be a good son now, and don't let it fall," she warned him, and plastering her own hands with the warm olive oil, she started to work methodically on the tiny body, up and down across the little chest. Lungs and buttocks went the skillful fingers rhythmically until the newborn skin glistened with silver wrought silver piece of gossamer. The long minutes went by heavily. The oil lamp flickered and went out, leaving the dancing rays of shadows of the fire to light this crude drama with its eternal theme. 5 minutes, 7, 10, without fruit or the promise of fruit. But the moving fingers went on, with rhythmic ruthlessness, searching for the spark that must surely be hidden there in the fold of descending darkness. Frank's face was flushed, his eyes gathered up with pain of exertion, his breath coming in spasms. On his mother's forehead, beads of sweat glistened, rivulated down the gray, gentle face, and flowed down onto the newborn's body to be ruthlessly merged in the hot, oily waves of her massaging. Then suddenly, as the tension had reached almost to the unbearable, a thin, highly pitched cry came from the tiny, spume-filled lips. She seized the baby, pushed Frank from her, turned it upright, grabbed a chipped, handless cup of cold water, and even as the fluttering life hesitated on the miniature features for one solitary second to receive its divine passport and the symbol of its eternal heritage, she poured a little of the water on the tiny skull and said, "I baptize you in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost." She wrapped the little corpse in the remnant of a torn sheet, without a tear or any trace of sentiment, placed it in a drawer she took from the crazy wardrobe, and having made the sign of the cross over it, gave it no further attention. When she saw that the bowl was almost empty of gruel, she chased Manahan out with a gesture and settled the little mother comfortably. She was adjusting her wet, tear-stained hair over her pillow when suddenly she felt Sadie's arms tightly about her neck. Her big eyes were quiet now, and the pain from the travail was gone, but the tears came rushing from them again as Maura kissed and soothed her. "I wish I had me mother," she sobbed. "Maura, ma'am, I'm going to be a good girl from now on." "You've never been a bad one, darling," coaxed Maura, tucking the faded bedclothes into her back. "A wee bit foolish, maybe, but the world and the years will learn you. Sleep now, and I'll see you tonight." She redonned her own black cloak in the kitchen. I'll tell Maloney to bring you up the white box," she said to Manahan. "It'll save you the journey down." On the mountain path, she went noiselessly, with Frank a little ahead, carrying the extinguished lantern. The dawn greeted her from the heights with far-flung banners of amber and amethyst. The heights themselves ceased their eternal brooding for a brief moment of time and gave her a series of benign... I don't even know the word. I'm just going to ignore it. Obeisances. Sure. The racing rivulets tossed their name from one to the other on the Lord's commendation. The sun himself, new risen and generous, sent a very special ray of light that caught up her tossed hair and rolled it in priceless silver. "Why do men lay prone in their beds?" she murmured, "and the great glory of God washing the hills with holy fire." Seamus Dunn was taking his 2 nanny goats for the milking as she passed his cottage. "A blessing of God light be on you, woman," he said, touching his windswept hat. "And on yourself too, Seamus," she answered. "How's the little fella now?" Sure, isn't he over a stone weight already? Woman, wasn't it a near thing that height? Sure, only for yourself wasn't me the whole world lost." "Men always think the worst such times," she answered smilingly. "Sure, there was never a great fear of the worst that night. Herself within is much too good a soldier for that." Frank had now discovered a salmon tin and was kicking it vigorously before him. She took out a rosary at the bend where the path dips perilously between the 2 ageless boulders. As she trudged along, she began counting the beads effortlessly. There on the heights at dawn, caught between the gold and deepening blue of the day, she might have been a pilgrim out of Europe that has long since vanished, or maybe a Ruth garnering the lost, discredited straws of the age-old Christian thought. Frank had now lobbed the salmon tin onto the lofty fork of the tree, and when she caught up with him, he took her arm undemonstratively. Himself would be up now, she thought, with his braces hanging and maybe a hole in the sock that she had overlooked. He wouldn't be able to find the soap and the towel, even if they were both staring at him. And of course, if he blew on the fire, even with 1,000 breaths, it would never light for him. But no matter now. Thanks be to God there was an egg left in the cracked bowl that would do for his breakfast. If the little white pallet in the barn laid in the old butter box, Frank would have one too, and with the help of God, when the cock himself laid the egg, glory be, she'd get one all to herself. Oh, that was a joke. Okay, I was going to say, that doesn't work out.
I was like, yeah, that is the type of irony that you'd get in the old Irish humour. If the cocky be laying an egg, then surely she should be getting one herself. But otherwise than that, she can fucking whistle because she's not going to get an egg this time tonight. Oh no, she's not.
They crossed the rickety bridge as the dawn was losing its color. Frank saw a squirrel and rushed ahead of her. She paused for a moment and contemplated the restless waters. They took to her like a rich, tawny wine poured out of some capacious barrel by some high, ruthless hand who had suddenly discovered the futility of all riches. A May blossom rushed over the incongruous arch and emerged to get caught between a moss-covered stone and a jagged piece of rock. There was a turmoil and pain for a moment, and then it freed itself and rushed on. She wondered if it was the little soul she had lately saved, rushing into a virgin panic into the eternal waters. Maybe it was. Maybe she was just an imaginative old fool. Ah, sure, but what harm was there to be guessing at infinite mysteries, as she was so small on a mountain road? Himself met her on the stone-floored kitchen. Indeed, yes, he was trailing his braces, and the sulky fire was just giving up his last gasp before expiring. I suppose you saved the little bastard, he commented acidly. She went on her knees to blow the fire to a flame again. I saved him, she answered, and a flame leaped suddenly upwards and made a sweet and unforgivable picture of her face. I should have figured being Irish stories would be somewhat depressing.
It was quite maudlin. It was quite maudlin, and it was one of I think you read it beautifully. You read it so very well, and you got through that quite well. Maybe the subject matter probably wasn't what I was expecting, but I get what you mean. I mean, the thing is, I think a pre-read is generally a good idea.
Yeah. Well,
I think.
I was hoping it would be something like maybe a little bit jaunty, but then again, I mean, Irish short stories, yeah. What they say? The bonny girls of Ireland are men who've gone made mad, for all their songs are all their wars are merry, and all their songs are sad.
There you go. Well, I think you did really well with that one. You got through that one absolutely brilliantly. I'm going to definitely change the pace up. Lift the pace up. So that was Mr. Bale with the, was it Short Stories of Ireland? Short Stories of Ireland, right? Indeed. But I'm actually going to take it to England and going to go back to the Victorian era. Yeah, I might have needed a trigger warning. I would agree with you on that one. Definitely big time. And that's why, but we'll put that in the description, definitely. But I'm going to change the pace with respect to all. And so, I like Victorian England. I like Regency era. And one of the things I like most of all is the scandals, the penny dreadfuls, the news sheets, and all that sort of malarkey. So I've written up something here. You know, it is based in fact, but they're all works of fiction. I will tell you that for note. Right then. We shall begin with the Warwickshire scandal, which is a Victorian guide to... Oops, my bad. Now, if you think modern celebrity breakups are messy, you clearly haven't spent enough time in 1870s Warwickshire. Now, the Warwickshire scandal was the Victorian era's version of a premium cable drama. It featured a baronet, kind of like a baron, but more jaunty, a royal prince, a pair of dead ponies, and the most convenient bout of insanity, in inverted commas, in medical history. So, Sir Charles and the Norwegian Sapman. Our story's going to begin, right? We've got Sir Charles Mordaunt, a man whose two main hobbies were shooting things and not being at home. While he was off in Norway, engaging in the very serious business of salmon fishing, his young wife, Lady Harriet, was back at Walton Hall, engaging in the equally serious business of the Marlborough House Set, a group of aristocrats who treated the 10 Commandments more like 10 suggestions for other people. A very crowded bedroom. A confession. In 1869, Lady Harriet gave birth to a daughter, Violet. Now, she was fearing the baby had inherited a taint. Now, it's not the American sort of taint. Oh, no. Yeah, a taint in Victorianese was, this might be syphilis. Harriet decided the best course of action was to tell her husband everything. Okay? Most people confess to a single affair, right? But Harriet, fearing the baby had inherited... Harriet, overachiever that she was, named a roster. Her list included Viscount Cole, the likely candidate, Sir Frederick Johnstone, a regular at the parties, and Bertie, the Prince of Wales, the heir to the throne and future Edward VII. Now, Sir Charles reacted with the calm, measured dignity, typical of a Victorian gentleman. He shot Harriet's pet white ponies in front of her and filed for the most public divorce imaginable. I should have done a trigger warning on that one and all. Yes, like most aristocrats. Yes, the story was a bit grim, but it was very well read. Right, let's get back to the trial. The trial, the get out of jail free card. The divorce trial was the hottest ticket in London. The highlight was the Prince of Wales taking the stand, the first time a royal had been cross-examined in a divorce court. Oh. Bertie was asked if there had been any improper familiarity. Sounds like that needs a wipe. He replied, "There has not," with the straightest face in the British Empire, despite having written Harriet a stack of letters that Sir Charles later helpfully published for the public's reading pleasure. I want to get those letters. To save the monarchy from a PR nightmare, Harriet's family and a team of royal doctors deployed the ultimate Victorian defence. Puerile mania! They argued that Harriet was so insane that her confessions were just the delusions of a shattered mind. Back then were the days, weren't they? Right, the punchline, which is actually quite sad. The court fell for it, or at least agreed it was the most polite way to end the conversation. Harriet was declared a lunatic and spent the next 36 years in asylums. Joy! Sir Charles eventually got his divorce years later by blaming someone other than the prince, and the prince went back to his cigars and mistresses. The moral of the story: in Victorian Warwickshire, if you're gonna have an affair, make sure your co-respondent is the future king. It won't save your marriage, but it will certainly confuse the doctors. Now what?
That is sad.
Yes. Hey, Fafo. I'm sorry, Fafo is the same then as it is now, although the ramifications are indeed very different. Yes.
The problem is only one of them found out. The other went back to his cigars and mistresses, didn't he?
Yeah, but it was funny. It was. Right. Okay, we'll try this one then. The Nellie Clifton Affair, 1861. While stationed in Ireland for military training, fellow officers smuggled actress Nellie Clifton into Bertie's quarters. When his father, Prince Albert, found out, he was so distraught he visited his son in the rain to deliver a reprimand. He died of typhoid shortly after, leaving a grieving Queen Victoria to famously blame Bertie for killing his father. Ooh, this sounds like fun. Right, let's see what we can do with this. The Nellie Clifton Affair, or how one hookup killed a prince consort. If you've ever worried that your parents might overreact to your dating life, spare a thought for Albert Edward Bertie, the Prince of Wales. In 1861, he managed to turn a standard military hazing ritual into a constitutional crisis, an accusation of manslaughter by his own mother, and the most catastrophic guilt trip in British history. Ooh. The setup: boot camp and bedroom windows. It was the summer of 1861. Prince Albert and Queen Victoria, desperate to stop their 19-year-old heir from becoming a waster, did what any sensible Victorian parents would do. They shipped him off to the Curragh camp in Ireland to learn discipline with the Grenadier Guards. Oh, crikey. The plan backfired immediately. Now, while Albert envisioned his son studying maps and polishing boots, Bertie's fellow officers had a different curriculum in mind. Oh, yes, they did. One night, realising the future king was still he still had his V card, they smuggled Nellie Clifton, a local actress, and Curragh Wren into the prince's quarters. Ooh, I don't know if I should carry on reading about this. Bertie, polite young man that he was, didn't kick her out. Oh, no, no, no. He had to be polite. He had to be civil, and he had to be the utmost host. According to his diary, he was quite enthusiastic about the whole arrangement. Yes. The officers had successfully hazed the prince. Nellie had a great story for the pub, and Bertie had finally learned something useful. Everyone was happy. The gossip of all gossips. Unfortunately, Victorian gossip travelled faster than a telegram. Rumours of the prince's fall reached the ears of Baron Stockmar in Coburg, who immediately tattled to Prince Albert. He tell on him, Bear. He told tales. He got him in trouble. Ooh. Albert was devastated. He didn't just see a teenage fling. He saw the fall of the House of Saxe, Coburg and Gotha. He wrote Bertie a letter so melodramatic it could have been an opera libretto, crying out about the pain and shame caused by his son's depravity. He then decided that a strongly worded letter was not enough. Oh, no, no, no. He needed to deliver the lecture in person. And this will be a moral story about why strongly worded letters do sometimes work and probably save you a wet walk in the rain. The wettest walk in history. Despite feeling unwell and suffering from what was likely undiagnosed chronic illness, Albert thought it was a really clever idea to travel to Cambridge, where Bertie was studying, to confront the sinner. On November the 25th, 1861, father and son went for a long walk to discuss the disgusting details. They were having a proper man's talk, weren't they? Because the universe has a dark sense of humour, it began to rain. To make matters worse, they took a wrong turn. So, there was the prince consort, sick, freezing and wet, marching his son through the mud to lecture him about the birds and the bees, or rather, the birds and the actresses. Bertie, properly chastised, apologised. Great. Albert returned to Windsor, shivering and exhausted. The aftermath. You killed your father! No! 3 weeks later, Prince Albert was dead. The official cause was typhoid fever, though modern doctors suspect it was something chronic like Crohn's disease or stomach cancer. Queen Victoria, however, had her own diagnosis. Bertie did it. In her mind...
God damn it, Bertie.
Couldn't you just put it somewhere else and then your father would still be here? In her mind, the stress of the Nellie Clifton business and that fateful rainy walk had shattered Albert's resistance to cancer. Right, okay. She famously wrote that she could never look at him without a shudder, effectively grounding the future King of England for the next 40 years. The moral of the story: if you're going to sneak someone into your room, make sure your dad doesn't walk 3 miles in the rain to yell at you about it. It never ends well. No. Right. I met the Queen's cousins when I was volunteering at the local hospital for the mentally handicapped. Sadly, there was very little wrong with them, other than having them been committed for so long. The more things... Hey, hold on a minute. That was... I remember that. Yes. What was her name? Oh, my God. I remember this. The Queen's cousins or cousin. I thought she just had one cousin. Oh, I've got to totally Google this now. Okay. So Queen's cousin.
Queen's mother's sisters.
It's the Boars Lions. It's the Queen Mothers. I've told you about the Boars Lions before because, fun fact, not far away from me is a Boars Museum, which is where the Clockwork Silver Swan is, which is one of the most wonderful things that you can see from the Victorian era. And the Boars Museum was actually the mansion of the Boars family, who Bors-Lyon was the Queen Mother to Queen Elizabeth II. Yes. So, Catherine Bors-Lyon, she passed in 2014. That's sad. And Nerissa passed in 1986. They were cousins to Queen Elizabeth II, so that being on her mother's side. Oh, they were born with learning disabilities. They were falsely listed as dead in Burke's peerage in 1963, only for the public to discover in 1987 that they were alive and had been largely abandoned by their family. That's really mean. Another reason not to like the royal family, although Will and Kate are lovely. I like them. Oh my goodness. Aha. They were the daughters of John Herbert Bors-Lyon, the brother of Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. Right. So I was correct on that score. Awesome. That's really not fair to say that they'd passed away. And of course it was reported by the frickin' Sun newspaper. I hate the Sun. But then again, it was good that they were shown to be still alive. Claim to fame there. Yeah, two of them. You see, I knew about one sister, but yeah, two of them.
That's nuts.
They used to pinch the other residents cups of tea. You see, this is why it's always good that we all get to hang out together, because we all learn something new, and it's good fun, and we can share stories and stuff. I did enjoy doing the Victorian scandals, but I think I need to work on them a bit more. I'd like to do a series definitely with them, because I think it's I think you can get a good couple of giggles out of them. I think you can, even though they can be quite dark as well.
Absolutely. And I think if I read any more of the Irish ones, I'm gonna skim them first.
Yes, but I think you do it so well. I think you do it really, really well. But I think it is. I would probably rather keep like you would as well. I think it's one of those ones we'd probably rather keep the tone a bit lighter.
Yeah.
But my lovely beans, I think that we have exhausted our content for today. But likely I'll probably find another couple of Victorian scandals for tomorrow. Likely we'll do more of the importance of being earnest tomorrow. And as I said, just if you'd like to leave us some comments and let us know what you think, and if you want us to do anything else on there, I think Pygmalion's a great choice to do as another play again, and that'd be really, really cool. And there's also lots of other classics you want to do as well. So I think this is going to work out really well. What do you reckon, Mr. Bear?
I think so.
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it very much. But now, my lovely beans, my bladder's telling me we need to go. So take it easy, take care of yourself, and it's good night for me, and big loves and kisses. So yes, na.